Good morning, everybody. This is Diane. I'm going to be working on some smashbooks, just a quick and easy project. Because I haven't done smashbooks in a while. But I had someone watching a video, an older video, where I showed how I use the Bind It All. And she had a question about how did I prepare the covers. I'm not going to do the Bind It All on this video. I'm just going to show how I prepared my covers. It's pretty straightforward as far as just taking a book cover and I take it apart, and then there's a raw edge here, so I cover that. So that's what we're going to look at with these two. These are going to be two smash books. But first I want to experiment with this book cover. I want to do this one first, so that way if I don't like the way it turns out, I don't have to continue. I don't have to include the other things on this video, and this video just won't be seen. But this is a cover in bad shape, but I love this picture. It's called The Big Rain, and it's a cloth, it's a fabric cover, so this dirt is not washing off. And it's pretty raw on the edges, so this needs a lot of work, and there's tape up here. So here's what I do. This is the really old book, and it has the very sturdy cloth on the spine. So I'm not going to try to meticulously take apart that spine. I'm just going to cut it. I'm just going to cut this book cover off. Take the tape off. I figure I can play around with this, and if I don't like the way it looks, if I can't redeem this cover, it's okay. I will use the pages in something, because I like the pages too. But at least I'm going to give it a shot. Okay. Really cute. Let's just focus on the cover. I'm going to start on the back cover, I think. See how things work out on the back cover before I try the front. And I did wipe this down with baby wipes yesterday, and it still looks like this. Pretty filthy. So, I'm gonna get my paint palette. I'm just gonna put some, what color paint do I want to use? I think I'll use this light mocha, and then I can add antique white if I want to. Just experimenting here. And I didn't bring water in with me, but I'll just go. I'll just wet my paintbrush. I don't need to worry about the edge because the edges are so worn. The fabric is worn away. I will just wrap fabric around those edges. Now I'm going to take some of this antique white. Is that what I said? Yeah, antique white. before I go too much further with the mocha, before it dries, I'll just put in some antique white and see how we like that. I think I wanted it to look more spongy, so let's see. I have a sponge here. Just dab, 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 dab. Okay, let's continue with the mocha. This brush is shedding hairs. Of course, I'm going to have to do this in such a way that I don't cover up that adorable little girl on the front cover, because that's the point of going to all this trouble, is so that I can keep that illustration. I think it would make a really cute smash book. And I'm wondering if I want to add a little bit of pink in there. I think the original cover was a rose color. See, that's cameo pink. That's cameo pink. I guess that's the only pink I have. Because I think the last time I used this cameo pink on a cover, it looked more peach. Just use another side of this sponge. It looks pink, not peach. Kind of smearing all the colors together. The reason I want it to look patchy and spongy and not solid is because I don't want it to look like there's an abrupt end to this flat paint and then it'll stop and have this picture. I want it to look more like a tapering off, I guess. So let's see what we can do with this cover. all my colors out here and ready. My son and his wife and daughter came over last night. We were going to watch the Marvel movie, Guardians of the Galaxy 2. And we did do that. But his wife had just gotten a new game. They love table games. Like my husband really, really, really was into table games. And he played games with the kids, and so they love table games. I'm not so much into table games. But there's a game called Munchkin, which is actually played with cards. And it has a lot of varieties. And she loves Disney, his wife does. And so she had just gotten the Disney version of Munchkin card game. And last night was their only night where they could have sat down and played the game. So they brought it over here. They brought it early before dinner. So I played with them, even though I'm not much of a game player. I like that. I like the way it looks. And that's how it would look with the pink. So I guess we'll go for it with the pink too. So we played Munchkin, and my daughter-in-law won. And then we ordered pizza and we watched the movie. So it was fun. I'm having fun playing with paints. I hope you're having fun watching. I don't want any straight lines leading into that picture. Now for the pink. try to get rid of any line of demarcation between my first batch and the second batch, so to speak. Okay, there's that. Now I'm going to let those covers dry before I do any more, like with the fabric around the edges. So I will move on to the other covers. Get my paints out of the way. And hopefully I will like these when they're dry. Wipe my hands off. I decided to try doing a quicker project sometimes in between my longer projects. Probably won't happen every time, but glue books and smash books are quicker projects. So it was kind of funny, I had already chosen the covers and had these cover image, and I had the pages cut, and I had these digital images all ready to go on the covers when I got that comment from a viewer asking if I had a video of how I prepared the covers to use to bind it all. So this one is still, the cover is still together, the pages are gone, but I wanted to, you know, do as much as show as much of the process as I could, but I already had the pages pulled out of this. So it was a quilt book. This one measures, and it's got a blue fabric cover, but it's not very old. It's about 7.5 by 10 3/4. It's a really nice cover. So I love the covers of both of these. This pretty blue, and then the other one is a deep burgundy. And I love blue and burgundy. Some of my go-to colors. So that's all I do. I just cut the spine off and try to make the edge as neat as possible, even though it will be covered. I don't want any bulges where the fabric is, or the paper. I'll cover the edges with paper. Now I've been saving this stuff that comes out of the spines, but this isn't vintage. So, and it's very skinny. I'm not going to save that one. And I used some of that old vintage stuff in my shabby journal that I just created. The video went up yesterday. Well, actually the video went up today, but when you see this video it will be yesterday. You know what I'm trying to say. So these, I have stacks of digital images that I printed a long time ago. Tsunami Rose, when you get her ephemera packs, digital packs, you get tons and tons of images. This is actually from Stamperia paper that I'm using. I'm using Stamperia papers in both of these smash books. And I thought they looked really nice with that blue cover. So I'm just going to glue them on. And that's pretty much all I'm going to do to the cover, except for covering the spine. Let me see. Yeah, I'll put end papers on it too, because it's just plain white. We have to have more fun than that. I'm not Mod Podging because the cover is really nice with that nice blue fabric, and I don't want to put Mod Podge over it. So I'm using the Fabri-Tac glue because it doesn't warp the paper. Plus I'm gluing it to a fabric cover, so Fabri-Tac is probably the best way to go. I wasn't even going to make a video on making these smashbooks. I was just going to make them and then show you the finished product and have them in my shop. But somebody wanted to see this, so that's okay. I'll do a video. So before I cover the edges, I'm going to put paper on the inside, and I didn't choose paper ahead of time. Let me look at this Colorbach French Prep. I think this might be a good way to go. It's a little vintage and kind of classy. And I know that there's blues in here, but that's a nice one. I have to have 2 pages so that 2 are the same, because I can't get 2 end papers out of 1 sheet. But I used 1 of each of these. I don't know if I can do blue polka dots pretty. I don't know if I have 2 of any of them. I didn't use the fleur-de-lis in the other projects, so anything with a fleur-de-lis, yeah, there's 2 of those. 2 of the clock. It doesn't matter if they're not the same. I could use that. I like that one. I like this one with the birds because there's a bird on the cover, but I think I only have 1 of those. So we're going to go with that fleur-de-lis one. I just lay the paper on. It's got a dotted line up here, so I want to avoid that. So I'm going to trim that off first thing. And then I just lay the paper on the cover and I mark where I need to cut it. And I'll do them both at the same time. The dotted line off. I'll just do it singly. It's too much. I'm having too much trouble here keeping them lined up. Let me make sure this is just right. it is. Oh, you know what I've done in the past, and I didn't even think about it till it's too late. If I wanted to use an end paper, I would cut it an inch or so longer than I needed, or wider, and then just wrap it around. I could have done that. But now I have to do a separate paper. And I used to use my ATG tape runner to do this, which I still could. I just get used to using this glue all the time. Maybe on the other cover I'll use my ATG gun. So you have this, and then you flip it over and you see this. That's pretty. What I intended to do was work on the smashbooks while I was doing that shabby journal from the Nellie Wortman course. Because that one I wasn't going to put in my shop, so I wanted to work on something that would be going in my shop. So I got the papers cut and selected and cut and all that, but once I got going on the Nellie Wortman course, I had so much stuff. Vintage papers and all kinds of vintage fabrics and laces and my metal pieces and all kinds of stuff. Paint and stuff. So I didn't want to keep moving that stuff aside and working on this. So I'm pretty much a person that just can do one thing at a time as far as projects like this go. Once I get started on a project, I don't want to do another one until this one's done. I don't have a lot of unfinished projects. Now I need a paper that I can wrap around this edge. This paper was just a smidge long or wide, so I'm just trimming off the excess. And it doesn't matter, I'm going to cover it, but the smoother I get this, the more smooth the paper will be that wraps around. Let me see what I have in scraps. I can't because my tripod's in the way. So I'm just going to take a full sheet of paper. And I want it to look good on this. That's the main thing. I like this blue stripe, but I don't think I want to cut this paper. Let me see it. If I can get to it. Yeah, I don't want to cut that paper up, but that blue stripe would be nice if it didn't have all this other stuff I want to save. Let's just use this foulard kind of print. Or no, let's do the blue polka dots. That's good. And I'm going to cut my strips about, let's cut them 1.5, and if that's too wide, we can cut them skinnier. Might as well do them both while I'm right here, right? cut it to the right length. I'm going to lightly fold it in the middle, fold it in half, but it's got a thickness it has to wrap around, so I don't want to press that too tightly, make such a tight crease on that. Just so I know I'm getting it somewhat even, and that looks really pretty with that blue polka dot. So I'm going to use my ATG gun for this, I think. I'll just run some tape. No, I'm going to use my glue because I can get it close to the edge more easily. Pressing it right down against the edge of the spine so there's no empty paper hanging out here. And I did cut it a little bit long, so I'll have to trim that off. It's not a big deal, it won't even be that noticeable. But how pretty, that's a pretty smashbook cover right there. And once I get this strip on, I'll show you the papers that I'm using. I'll show you the papers I'm using for both of them, but I won't have time to do the other cover on camera. But I'll be doing the same technique. Just using different papers. I usually use a book that has a design that I like, an image that I like that little girl on the Big Rain book. But I have purchased quite a few craft books because I wanted the pages, and then I have these nice covers that don't have any design on the front. And not just craft books, they're just, you know, these large size books. I don't want to make journals out of them, but the covers are nice. So that way I get to decorate the cover, which I find very fun. So there we have it. Now, I will show you, cover up my glue, the pages. So I pulled Stamperia pages, and I forgot, one of them is flowers and alphabet in one book, and the other one is, I don't know, but they both have to do with flowers and letters. So this one had more blue in it, so I chose that for this one. And then I chose some other double-sided papers. Now I got a stack of, I think four paper pads not too long ago from Joann's on clearance that were double-sided, so I chose some that would go with the color. So these are the kinds of papers that I'm putting in this smash book. And I had some in my stash. These papers my daughter gave me. This is from a K&Company Smashbook. So they're kind of funky. They don't all have to be this lovely, elegant, floral. Smashbooks, the K&Company brand of Smashbooks, are pretty eclectic and fun. So I included some fun pages. This is Prima right here, but this is the Stamperia paper right here. Has that crackly background. Another Smashbook page. I don't think I put these in order. I don't know why they're all mixed up like this. Here's a little page. Yeah, they're not, I didn't put them in any order yet. But I think this is going to be a fun Smashbook. I'll have to add a few pockets. I don't really do too much to the pages, but I do like to put a few pockets in there. So there's that one. This one will be Lilacs. That's the name of it because there's a picture of lilacs on the front. This one will be Pink Rose, and I think this one is a little bit bigger. I'm using this image from Tsunami Rose on the front, and this one measures 8 3/8 by 11 1/4, so that's a bigger one. And the Stamperia papers have more pink in them. They're very pretty. But I like to put 25 to 30 or more pages in a Smashbook. It doesn't look very full when it's first made, but then when as soon as you start adding stuff to the pages, it's going to bulk up. So I don't like to add too many more than 30. I think I might have 35 in these. So I had to, Stamperia sets don't have a lot of papers in them, so I had to add some to both. So these are all Smashbook pages right here. And then these are from those sets that I got from Joann's. This is just an older one I had in my stash. So I will be working on these journals. I'll have fun decorating this cover. And then I will come back and I have fabric pieces and strips that I want to use on the big rain cover. And if I don't like it, I am not going to keep the cover and make a Smashbook out of it. If I don't like how it turns out, let's just pick a couple pieces right here. I've got a few minutes. So I would wrap this around and then probably add some little pieces so it doesn't look just like a frame. I would have some pieces, random pieces stuck on it like that, and it would have to go all the way around because of the condition of this one. It's not too bad on the top, but I would still put it all the way around. Actually, it's the bottom that's the worst, the bottom and the corners. And I would have to do this part, of course, I'm going to do that with paper because I don't want to use my bind it all through the fabric. It just makes it fray. So hopefully I will like the way it turns out. Tell me what you think about this, doing this to the cover. Do you think it was effective or stupid? Sometimes it's hard for me to tell, you know, when I do something myself. If I saw someone else do it, I would know whether or not I like it. But, you know, you get a little too close to it, and sometimes I'm not sure. But I think I like it. Alright, so I'm going to close this video out. I'll keep working, but when you see these Smashbooks again, they'll be done. Thanks for watching, and I hope that it was helpful and informative. And in case you don't know the smashbook, how I make a smashbook, I have a bind it all machine that will punch the holes here, so it's going to be bound with wires. You'll see that in the next video. Thanks for watching, and have a creative day today. Bye-bye.